Okay, so this time of togetherness, I really want to talk about beyond Rekindle. And we've talked about Rekindle and we've talked about, the experience when couples spend time with us. And it was really important for us to not create this like retreat experience or conference experience, but to have couples experience what we experienced was connection. We didn't experience like the Rekindle where we were like guided through some really intentional time, but we were connected through adventure and travel. And that's what Beyond Rekindle is about, is after you experience time together with us as a team, then you venture out with your tools and you see more the country and you try out your tools and you have a sense of adventure. So, tell me your experience about Beyond Rekindle and what your thoughts are with that, April.
Sure. As we've laid out on the website and in some of our calls, Rekindle itself is the time that is spent together at Casa Pampa in the Los Pampas region of Argentina at the ranch. And that is about 4 days of just being together, resting, having intentional conversation, and the two of us sharing some tools that we have found to be helpful in navigating the intricacies and intimacies of marriage. But what we wanted to do is create an opportunity for couples to do something beyond, the Rekindle experience. And so we call it Beyond Rekindle. So after couples spend time at the ranch, then they can choose sort of their destination. Our travel concierge, Vicky, has put together itineraries in 3 different
Mhm.
destinations within Argentina. So one is Buenos Aires.
Mhm.
Couples can go back to Buenos Aires and really focus on an immersion of culture and history. Buenos Aires has so many really lovely and unique neighborhoods
Mhm.
that couples can go to for art, for music, cuisine, tango
Tango
shows.
show.
They were
The
so
tango
fun.
show.
Yeah, amazing. The cemetery is the Recoleta Cemetery is amazing. We spent about 2 hours there, and I think I could have spent much more walking around and looking at the architecture and the history just in that one location. So couples can go to Buenos Aires. They can go to Mendoza if they're really interested in getting into the wine and olive oil country, in addition to, I mean, hundreds of really boutique, lovely wineries
Yeah.
that couples can visit and learn about the winemaking process and how that is changing over time as well.
Yeah.
We went to 3 different wineries in one day, and I remember at the beginning of the day thinking, this is probably going to feel sort of like repetitive or
Yeah.
redundant. And each winery we went to had a very unique
Mhm.
appeal. It was
Yeah.
not the same experience repeated 3 times in different locations. It was 3 very unique experiences.
Yeah, there was one, if I can remember correctly, that they like aged wine in like steel instead of oak, and they somehow were able to get these really unique. Is that right, April? Was I right
Well,
about?
yeah, they were exploring some new technology where they had much more control over
Right.
it.
Over the
So,
aging
mhm.
process. Yeah.
So there's in the past, traditionally, winemaking, the idea and the reality has been that wine got better with time, like
Right.
it aged and it got better. But there are some wineries who are exploring this new technology that allows them to produce wine at its very best the
Mm.
minute that you pop the cork.
Hmm.
And so that was interesting for us to kind of learn about that and to spend time with sommeliers and who were incredibly knowledgeable about their particular winery's
And
approach to
cute.
winemaking. And he was also our
He was
particular
cute.
sommelier was very cute.
Yeah, he was.
Um, but it was, in Mendoza, not only was there all these incredible, wineries, but there were also olive oil factories that had been in existence for over 100 years. I bought bottle of olive oil that was made from the very trees on the land of the olive oil factory that we toured that had been there like 150 years.
Wow.
And that was really cool. But there was also opportunity to trout fish in
Yeah.
Mendoza and to do some hiking. So Mendoza is one of our options. You've got Buenos Aires, Mendoza,
Yep.
and our third option is Patagonia, which is closer to where we are when we're at the ranch. But Patagonia is going to be focused on fishing, on wildlife, on hiking. That area of the country is just
Andes
breathtaking.
Mountains. I mean,
Yeah,
it is
amazing.
so beautiful. And
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say, Vicky has created some itineraries, an itinerary for each of these destinations so that you can go on our website at sparrowcouncil.com and click on the Rekindle experience. And in the Beyond Rekindle section, you'll be able to actually access the template of an itinerary for each of those destinations so you can get a feel for what that experience would be like. And Vicky has said she's interested and available to adjust those itineraries to meet a couple's particular interest or desires. But it gives you a good starting point to say, oh, this is how I would spend 4 days in one of these locations. And it would really be about an immersion in Argentina, in whichever of those streams is most appealing to you.
Yeah. And from Casapampa, in order to go to those other places, just logistically, you have to take a flight from the airport Santa Rosa back to Buenos Aires, and then take another flight if you want to go to Mendoza or to Patagonia.
Yeah, and the internal flights are really manageable. They're
Yeah.
not very long, they're not expensive, and those are things that Vicky would coordinate for our couple so that they could make a as quick as transition as possible.
Yeah.
And if for some reason, getting back to Buenos Aires from the Rekindle experience at Casa Pampa, she might suggest that you stay a night in Buenos Aires and go to a tango show and then get up the next morning. But that's the beauty of having Vicky on our team, is that she understands how the internal flights work. And
Yeah.
she's always, always, always going to be making suggestions about how to maximize your experience and maximize your enjoyment so that you're not stretched thin or stressed out
Hmm.
by the itinerary
Yeah.
of your own travel.
And I think from Atlanta, most flights leave in the evening, so around 10 o'clock at night. So you sleep or not sleep on the flight. But then one of the things that Vicky knows, because she works with a lot of Americans, is to give them some time to refresh, maybe take a nap, and then because you get in at like 7 a.m. And then
Mhm.
when we went, we did like a tour of Buenos Aires, and we were kind of ready. We were ready to see things, and we were tired, but it was still really, really lovely and fun.
Yeah, it was interesting because I thought this is going to be a problem that we're arriving at 7 or 8 a.m. and we're going to be tired and no hotel's going to let you check in before 3 p.m.
Right.
But Vicky has connections with hotel concierges in Buenos Aires, and we were able to check in at 8 a.m. and we took a shower and we took a wee rest for a couple of hours and then got up and went on a private tour that she had arranged for us of the city. And that's the level of service that she provides. And it is wonderful because she has all these relationships with providers in Buenos Aires and around the country. And so she's able to meet travel needs of her clients in ways that I've not experienced
Right.
in the United States.
Yeah, me either. All right, so that's the Beyond Rekindle experience. If you want to hear more, like April said, go to Sparrow Counsel, COUNSEL.com, and there's a little Rekindle tab. You can follow us on Rekindle XOXO on Instagram, and you can also follow us on Facebook at Rekindle Enrichment Travel. You can also email us at rekindlexoxo@gmail.com with any questions. We really hope to take 14 couples in October, 7 one session, 7 another session. We feel like this is really just an awesome idea and can be an awesome experience for couples. So If you have any questions, hit us up.